lot of work with men on death row and murder cases and imprisoned men, and what I've come to see them as mostly is untreated, traumatized children inhabiting the bodies of often very scary men. And one thing that makes them so scary is their unconsciousness about that wounded child and the anger of that child and the fear of that child. And now in a big body, they're doing things on behalf of that child without even an awareness of it. And sometimes it's almost hard to believe how unaware they are. I mean, one example is a guy I was interviewing who had murdered a police officer. And like a lot of these guys, he had been abandoned by his mother as a child. And you can sort of make cultural sense of being abandoned by your father. It's common enough. But to be abandoned by your mother, it's pretty hard to see how you would swallow that. And he had been abandoned when he was about 3 or 4. His mother very explicitly left him behind, took his older brother and her drugs, and left. And you look in the record, and you see in kindergarten, he was thrown out of kindergarten for assaulting his woman kindergarten teacher, and thrown out of first grade for assaulting his woman first grade teacher. And in third grade, it was the woman bus driver. In fifth grade, it was the woman counselor. So I knew all this from the record, and I said to him, it sounds like you've had a lot of trouble dealing with women in any position of authority in relation to you. And he said, yeah. And then I said to him as gently as I could, do you think it could have anything to do with your mother abandoning you when you were 3? And he said, man, I never thought of that before. And in a sense, he probably never had, because it's such a big thing. How would you approach that on your own, without support, without help? And I've really been struck by how many of these very violent men have maternal abandonment in their background. It's, as I say, in fact, I was interviewing a guy recently who I'd been told, this guy won't talk to you. He doesn't like to talk to people, certainly professionals. And I knew that his mother had died when he was 8. So when I went in, the first thing I said to him was, I understand your mother died when you were 8, and I'm really sorry. It must have been awful for you. And you couldn't shut him up, because somebody had, spoken about the biggest fact in his life that he couldn't spontaneously talk about. So I think it's that kind of dynamic. Those are obviously very extreme, dramatic stories, are why some of these parental influences are so powerful and often so hard to shake.